What it do? Yo man, listen. Today, I want to talk about buffs. Let's get right into it. Oh, but Draupnir, you already made the video about buffs and buffers, and Nandi has his buffs masterclass. Absolutely. However, this video focuses on a very important aspect of buffs, so I do think it is a very important video. Let's get right into it, yeah? Now, as you know, buffers are extremely important characters in any raid composition. You want to have a balance of buffers and damage dealers in your average multi-hit guild comp. You don't want to have like no buffers, you don't want to have all buffers. You want to have a healthy balance of the both. I'm not going to talk too much about this. However, not every buffer is made equal. And when I say this, I am not referring to the quantity or quality of the buffs buffers give, but rather the specific wording in the buffs. Different buffs have different wordings, which makes them work in a different way. I said different a lot there. Now, before I talk about what I'm going to say, I want to give huge shout out to FMG for double checking this information. I think it's good to make sure the information I'm giving out is correct when it's something like this. So thank you very much, FMG. Massive shout out, great person, very knowledgeable about the game. So wording matters, but it's also important to understand why the wording matters. Certain characters in the game have hits, but they are not exactly hits. So let me explain what I mean by that. Karn the Betrayer has a 4-hit damage stat, so he has 4 true hits. However, his passive ability, called the Betrayer, says, after performing a normal attack, Karn performs a second attack targeting an adjacent enemy, dealing 4x eviscerating damage. As you can see, there is a damage stat. I didn't read it because it's level 43, it will be different at max level. However, the important thing here is the Betrayer passive 4 hits have their own separate damage stat, whereas the eviscerating real hits, the 4 eviscerating real hits, use the damage stat of the character. You will understand why this matters later. Now, the first buffer is Eldryon. He is a very unique character because his buff reads all enemy units exactly 2 hexes away from Eldryon take X damage when attacked by other friendly units. The important word here is take. This works on the enemy. It is a status inflicted upon the enemy. As long as the attack being buffed does not have a cannot be modified bullet point, this will buff everything. Be it active abilities, be it passive abilities, be it the damage like base hits the character has. Take is the best buffing keyword because it works everything that can be modified. So I also put a little ability here. This is the thing where this ability's damage ignores all attacker bonuses and modifiers, including elevation, and cannot crit, right? Like this is the thing which makes it so the outgoing attack cannot be modified. So Eldryon will work on this, nor anything else, right? I just wanted to clarify that to, be clear. Goodness. Now, Calgar and Athena, they are very similar. I'm going to read both of them. So Calgar's Rites of Battle passive ability, it reads, adjacent friendly units gain X damage, and Path of Command, I'm not going to read the second part because it doesn't matter. The second ability, the Path of Command, the passive ability of Athena, other friendly units within 2 hexes gain 400 damage. Both of these abilities use the word gain. This works for the damage stat of the unit, which means this is an additional amount going on top of the damage stat of Karn the Betrayer. For example, let's go with Athena because it's 400 is easier. So Karn the Betrayer has 1700 damage stat. If Athena is in range, this damage stat is going to be 2100. He's going to have 4 hits eviscerating with 2100 damage. However, because gain only affects the damage stat of the character, the passive ability, it's not going to get the plus 400 damage stat. It is only for the damage stat of the character. Because the passive has its own damage stat, this does not get affected. Now, the Paths of Command passive crit does benefit Karn, does benefit the passive ability and whatnot because it can crit. However, that is separate. There are two parts. I didn't do the 1300 because it's just the same thing. It's the gain damage type. So gain is slightly weaker than take. There's also deals. You see this in Asmodai and High Marshal Helbrecht. You'll have to excuse my Destroy the Witch passive ability. I don't have High Marshal Helbrecht on my account, so it is what it is. Exemplar of Hate is the active ability of Asmodai. I did crop it because it was very wordy and the bottom part didn't matter. Select an enemy on the battlefield. For this round and the next, all friendly units deal plus 300 damage against that enemy with melee or Overwatch attacks. Destroy the Witch. I'm not going to read the first part. The second part, this unit and friendly adjacent units deal plus 15 with melee attacks against Psykers. Now, deals is actually quite similar to takes because it works on anything that is modifiable. It's very similar to take. However, the difference is that takes works on, like, is affected on the target, and deals is affected on the thing doing the damage, or attacker rather is more accurate. It's not that big of a difference realistically. Takes and deals are very similar to each other. So when I say works on anything that is modifiable, Karn the Betrayer's passive ability, like you can see the bar here because it's for upgrade, it's not max level yet, but it doesn't have a clause that puts the cannot be modified. So deals will work on his normal base hits, and then it will also work on his passive hits, which have their own damage stat. It's similar to takes in that sense. Now, the word deck, this isn't a groundbreaking statement. It's just I want people to be mindful of what types of hits your characters have and what buffers you need to use based on the type of hits you have. What do I mean by this? Ragnar Blackmane benefits a lot more from Calgar than Karn benefits from Calgar. Ragnar has 7 hits base, and his passive gives him 3 additional hits, which do not have their own damage stat, which means Calgar will be able to give the 1300 damage boost, right, because he's Imperial, to Ragnar Blackmane on all 7 to 10 of its hits. However, Karn only has 4 hits that are based on his damage stat. So Karn will only get the 800 4 times, and his 8 hits, they are, they're not going to benefit. So that's why Ragnar is so good with Karn, because Ragnar has the active ability Howl, which makes it so, the unit deals this much damage, and you can use it with, I don't know, Karn's active ability, which has 8 hits, so it's 8 times. It's good, okay? The whole point of this video is to show the difference between take, gain, and deal. Realistically, deal and take, it's not that dissimilar from each other. It's just the gain is different. Sometimes I see people using Calgar with only Karn and not Ragnar, and I'm like, hey, I see what you're doing. You're still getting a reasonable amount of damage. However, if you were using something like, I don't know, Eldurion in that case, it would be better. Something that deals damage instead of gains. Anyways, a fast little video. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you doing so. Have a good day. Stay safe. Bye.